Come out in their navy blue with white lettering and teal trim. And we have the college basketball season underway, Randolph.
Can't wait. It's been a long time coming. We're sitting here watching the preseason #1 team in the country.
These Heels came back to run it back, and their quest for a national title is underway. Donovan Newby with the basketball to begin at the point for the Seahawks.
Seahawks like to do a lot of dribble drive, kicking the three. They want to get paint touches. All else breaks down, they're going to run a ball screen.
This is Shaquem Phillips, preseason second team All ACC. He's got himself in a tough spot. Shot clock down to 5, and he is fouled by Caleb Love.
Veteran guy using his experience, getting in the paint, playing off 2 feet, shot fake, got Love off his feet. Just an experienced guard, good player, showing his level of experience and smarts here.
Yeah, you mentioned what head coach Takeo Siddle told us this morning at shoot around. They got to get paint touches. He's most concerned with rebounding against this big front line and big team across the board from Carolina.
Well, the good thing is every team that Carolina plays is concerned about that when you're going against Armando Bacot. And now with Pete Nance by his side, I think those two guys will be formidable on the glass.
Phillips, a senior from Winterville, North Carolina, wearing number 20 tonight instead of his customary number 2. And he's got the Seahawks on the board first. Now this familiar Carolina lineup. At least 4 of them you're familiar with, and if you're a Big Ten basketball fan or a college basketball fan, you're familiar with Pete Nance, younger brother of Larry Nance in the NBA. Of course, their father, Larry Sr., former NBA slam dunk champion. He is an interesting piece. It'll be interesting to see how Coach Davis and his staff integrates and uses Pete Nance on both ends of the floor.
I think it's a seamless exchange. He's going to come in and fit in perfectly with this group.
Well, statistically, Harden Hayes with a strong drive to the bucket. The North Dakota State transfer has the first field goal of the year.
They will not be afraid. This team is going to pick up 94 feet. They're going to attack the rim. Offensive foul on man. Push off. Extended his arm a little bit on the push off. See him there. Extended the arm a little bit. Ref caught him.
And there's Hubert Davis, the 52-year-old second-year head coach at his alma mater. Great player here for the Tar Heels back in the late 80s and early 90s. Long NBA career as well.
Seahawks want to keep the ball in the perimeter. A lot of dribble handoff and ball screens. When things break down, they're going to go right to a ball screen.
Tough shot, Phillips. Here comes R.J. Davis.
This is what Carolina's most dangerous in transition. They get from one end of the floor to the other as quickly as anyone in the country.
Well, it was interesting to see from freshman year to sophomore year how R.J. Davis and Caleb Love handled the backcourt. The progress that they made a year ago just opened everything up for this team.
Well, I thought R.J. Davis' ascension as an elite point guard last year was at the head of the reason Carolina made that run. And their improvement from their freshman to sophomore year. And that's usually when you make that jump. You know, most freshmen come in, you don't get a full summer. But that second year, after your freshman year, you get the entire summer with the team. And most guys make a massive jump when they do that.
R.J. Davis playing tonight after missing the exhibition with a sprained right hand. 2 free throws good by Pete Nance. The Tar Heels on the board.
It's always tough when you play these games early because you're accustomed to bigger teams. When you're playing against these smaller lineups where all their guys play on the perimeter.
Amari Kelly, the Duquesne transfer, banks it in. 6'2" Wilmington.
We talked about it. They're going to be unafraid. They're going to pick them up 94 feet. Carolina has multiple ball handlers, so it shouldn't be a problem for them. I expect them to try to get Bacot touches in the post now.
Well, this is the first time in UNCW program history playing a #1 team in the country. They moved up to the Division I ranks in 1976. They have only once before defeated a ranked opponent, but off to a good start here tonight.
Well, we know there's no quit in that group there. They're going to come out and they're going to compete. They're going to do what they do. They're not going to change it no matter they're playing a #1 ranked team in the country or the 100th ranked team in the country. They're just going to commit to play basketball the way their coach Sitter wants them to play.
Foul on Kelly, his first.
Expect Armando Bacot to touch the ball quite a bit tonight until Carolina settles down into their offense.
Bacot's turnaround well short, knocked out of bounds, back to the Seahawks.
Great defense there. You know, Victor had made Armando take a fadeaway jump shot. That's not what Armando, if you're a Carolina fan, you want him attacking the rim.
Good size, 6'8", 250. He's a grown man, a graduate transfer from Marist, who began his college career with a couple of years at Memphis.
He's the only guy on their roster that has the physical size to help give some resistance to Armando Bacot.
He sets a monster screen on Leaky Black to get wide open for the bucket.
That seems to be their game plan early. They're going to attack Armando and put him in ball screens. Try to get him out of the paint.
4 of the 5 UNCW starters have scored 8-2 early. Caleb Love swishes home the 3.
It's a great sign if you're a Carolina fan. He's just so explosive of a scorer. I think he is as gifted a scorer as there is in this league. And if he's taking and making shots, Carolina's tough to beat.
Well, the offseason work he's done with famed NBA trainer Drew Hanlon has provided dividends. That's just part of what he has worked on to grow his game. Traveling violation.
Great defense there by Armando. Staying in front of the ball. Forced to travel there. They're going to pick on him early. You got to go at him and try to get fouls on him. You can't let a big guy like that just play on one end of the floor.
As expected, full court pressure by UNCW.
This is the way they play. They're going to do it for 40 minutes. Pick you up, turn you. Just milk time off the clock.
Davis off the curl, fouled on the shot. He'll shoot 2.
Good job by R.J. Davis, just coming off, getting to his spot, to his pull-up jump shot.
4 minutes in, we've got our first media timeout from the Dean Dome on opening night. The #1 team in the country getting a stiff test early by UNC.
Two was their point guard. They had a tremendous summer. They came back. Both of those guys improved, and again, they led the way toward that team getting to the championship game a year ago. And I expect that to continue this year.
Yeah, and they both keep working on their games. Coach Davis says that R.J. Davis is so much better of a defender this year. He has focused in on watching lots of Jose Alvarado tape, the former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket and ACC Player of the Year or ACC First Teamer, now with the New Orleans Pelicans. And Caleb Love just keeps working on harnessing some of his great ability, not going 100 miles an hour at all times, changing speeds, and just becoming a better player all the way around.
If he slows down, his ability to make shots and just take good shots, he can become elite. I think he's a gifted scorer that comes naturally. I honestly believe that R.J. Davis is their best player. I think he's that talented and that good on both ends of the floor. I think he's the ringleader of the squad.
Foul on Bacot. Do you see a difference between Davis and Love when one has the ball and the other does not? Is one better with the ball or off the ball, or does it not matter? Just go with whoever's got the hot hand and whoever has the ball at that moment.
I think the work that Love has put in to do that this summer, I think he can do that well. I think now he's earned the right to develop into a player that can initiate offense and make decisions. But last year, R.J. Davis took a step, and I thought that he was more of the point guard. I think this year it's interchangeable, as they're going to need tonight against a team like the Seahawks that are pressing full court. So now they get multiple handlers out there on the floor, like here now.
Jamari Thomas off the bench for the Seahawks misses a pair of free throws. Still 8-7 early at the Dean Dome on opening night.
Now the one thing this pressure does, look how far Armando's catching the ball off the post, and look, see what he's doing in the perimeter. No easy catches.
Nice find in the corner. Black left it short.
They're going to give that shot to Leaky Black. Draw a lot of attention into Armando Bacot, clog up the paint. He's going to have to knock down a few to get them to come out there.
5 minutes in. White crosses over Bacot. Pump fake, and he traveled.
This is the thing they're playing against these early games, that you have to switch everything, so your bigs have to guard on the perimeter. Armando Bacot's doing a great job right now moving his feet.
Over the course of his now 4-year career here in Chapel Hill, how has Armando at both ends of the floor become more comfortable away from the basket?
I think the credit to Coach Davis. With Coach Williams, as great as he was, you play with your back to the basket. Coach Davis' system, he's playing more open, getting free runs to the rim like that because he's playing on the perimeter. And that's giving him a free lane to go in and clean up the offensive glass. He's averaging nearly 5 a game.
I believe that's called a wedgie. And what that is another rebound for Armando Bacot. If somebody gets the ball down for him, he can shoot the free throw. There we go.
Well, it'll be the first of many.
Foul on Thomas, sending Bacot, the senior from Richmond, Virginia, to the line, shooting 2. Coming up next, the Nothing But Net crew will break down all the ACC games, highlights, analysis, and sound from players and coaches right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. There's the preseason ACC Player of the Year, first team All-American. Bacot gets a pair, or 1 out of 2 from the line. He's All-American preseason along with Oscar Tshiebwe, Drew Timme, Trace Jackson Davis, and Marcus Sasser. And you wouldn't say he's the prohibitive favorite to win National Player of the Year, but he's certainly in the mix. And if the Tar Heels have the same type of success going deep into the NCAA tournament, having the chance to win an ACC title, you got to figure he's going to get his share of votes.
I think he'll be right there. There's a familiarity with the team. There's a confidence with this team now, having gone on the run they went a year ago. So I expect him to be right there in that Player of the Year, National Player of the Year candidate.
And as a college basketball fan, this really does feel like a throwback. The unity of this group coming back to run it back. Shot clock down to 5. Great defense. Leaky Black with the denial.
Being the preseason ACC Defensive Player of the Year candidate he is. Great defense, showing what he brings to the table with this team.
Montrez Styles into the game.
Stayed down on the fake. 6'9" wingspan. It's difficult to get that shot off. Look like he's a little bit of taunting there.
Leaky says the 2 best things he has to defend with are his 7'3" wingspan and his IQ. And like in that case right there, Randolph, he understood with the shot clock down, the guy's going to have to shoot it. You can time that defensive block easier.
He's embraced that role, and with his length and his position flexibility, he just gives you so much on that end of the floor. Like right now, he's sliding to the 4 spot.
Newbie skying for the rebound is Styles. Tar Heels with the ball for the first time with the lead.
Something we hadn't seen a lot of last year. If you're a Tar Heel fan, you hadn't seen Dontrez Styles and DeMarco Dunn early, as you've seen him so far this year. Armando again playing in space. Big fella showing you his moves on the perimeter. I think he's just going to get so much better. He's more comfortable in doing that. He wasn't asked to do that in the past. Facing you up, spin move. He was so accustomed to playing with his back to the basket. He adds that to his game consistently. He'll be unstoppable.
A 10-0 run for Carolina. Harvey on the pull-up. Can't quiet the crowd. Malik Harden-Hayes on the putback, though, puts everybody back in their seats.
There's no quitting this team. They're going to continue to come after Carolina. Great job. Contested shot. Just didn't secure the rebound.
Inside to Bacot. There's another spin. Didn't get the slam. Good defense to come away with the rebound by Victor Eno.
Going to put him on the ball screen. And things break down.
He cuts Phillips off, who brings the ball back out front with 10 on the shot clock.
Now they forced to switch.
Newbie with a clean look. He's got that shot in his arsenal.
Great shooter. He's a 39% three-point shooter. You don't want to give him that. I mean, that's pretty automatic. It was open. Styles made a huge mistake in helping on the strong side corner. You never want to give that up.
8 minutes in, UNCW back on top. Davis pulls from 3 and puts the heels back in front.
He's just developed his three-point shot so consistent, so much better than he was from his freshman year. That's the part of his game that he made drastic improvement on a year ago. And he continues so far this year.
Well, he's got a little flavor of his father, Robert Davis. His dad was a Division II legend at Mercy College, Dobbs Ferry, New York. Still the school's all-time leading scorer, 2,100 points.
Well, Dad has that bragging right on him.
Newby again. This time front rims it.
He's the guy if you're talking here. You got to get to him. You don't want to give him open looks.
Into Bacot and a foul on the entry pass. Pruding him. I don't know if you're ever going to be able to play here. I don't want to do this. Hubert's reply as a teenager, you'll never know unless you give me a chance. And all Hubert did was score 1,600 points in Carolina blue and his 43.5% career. Three-point shooting remains the standard here at UNC. And oh, by the way, he led his alma mater to the brink of a national title last spring. He has done it all for a man who has bled Carolina blue his entire life.
Well, I think it's so underrated, the job that he did a year ago. I mean, coming in, replacing a legend and Coach Williams, and coming in and doing as good a job as you can imagine. And just an unbelievable guy, great shooter, even better person.
And his demeanor throughout everything, Randolph, is always top-notch.
Well, I think it's the reason everything turned around for the team a year ago. You know, he set up the storm, took all the pressure off these guys. And they responded, and they play well. They play hard for him.
Hubert's second year as head coach at his alma mater. Of course, he served a long apprenticeship under Roy Williams.
He did, but just a great job.
Well, think about the coaches he worked for and played for.
Right.
And he's taken it all with his personality and created something new that he can sustain here in Chapel Hill and call his own.
Well, he erased any doubt if he was the right guy for the job. Let's be honest, last year they started off a little suspect. Yep. There was some doubt.
R.J. Davis in and out.
But his poise and the way he handled himself, everyone knew immediately things would turn around, and everyone, that question is answered.
Tied at 15, just past the midpoint of the first half, here on opening night with the #1 team in the country.
One thing you didn't see a year ago as a freshman playing for Carolina, as you see it, Tyler Nichols playing right now. But you didn't see Armando Bacot on the floor, and that's what Pete Nance brings to this team: the ability to have Armando rest on the bench and play the 5 spot. They couldn't get away with that a year ago.
And you mentioned Tyler Nichols, he's number 24, another ESPN 100 recruit. Three-point try by DeMarco Dunn off the mark.
And credit to him, because Coach Davis doesn't play anybody unless you earn it. You're seeing DeMarco Dunn out there. He didn't play his freshman year as talented as he was because he didn't earn this freshman year, but he's out there playing now.
Well, Coach Davis said he's been stacking good practices, and so he's going to play.
Credit to him for responding.
Krazarian White, tough shot, didn't catch the iron. Nance with another rebound.
Coach Davis wanting these guys to push tempo right now. Now, what's bothering Carolina in the half court is they're icing and they're down in all the ball screens.
R.J. Davis went down hard and is in pain as he gets back up and now goes back down to his knees.
I think he caught a knee on a spin move there. But that down in the ball screens is giving them some trouble right now. People don't know what I mean. They're pinning Carolina on the side. They're not letting them use the ball screen, and they can't reverse the ball. And it's forcing R.J. Davis to reject. Yeah, I think he collided knees right there. He started his spin move.
And landed on his hip. Remember, he missed the exhibition game with a sprained right hand as well.
And I used to do the same thing, too, when I turned the ball over. I'd fall down so my coach wouldn't yell at me. That's what you do, too. That's called a vet move right there.
My man.
Coach. So he's more worried about the injury. This pressure is bothering Carolina right now. They're getting up into these ball handlers and they're pinning them to the side. And Carolina had handled this pressure. That's a big concern of Hubert.
Fourth turnover. And the turnover by Love was compounded by him committing the foul on Shaquem Phillips.
Oh, no.
I guess they're saying it was on Phillips. So I stand corrected.
Wow.
So Caleb Love to the free throw line to shoot a 1-and-1. And out of the game goes Tyler Nickel. You remember the first time you took the floor at Wake Forest as a freshman? Could you catch your breath?
Wow. You're going to bring back some memories there. I just remember thinking that the first time I touched it, I was going to shoot it. That's the only thing I remember.
And that never changed.
It never changed. I just kept that philosophy every time I win the game. Helps with the jitters. Just get it over with. Just shoot it and get it over with. Got a 50-50 chance at making it.
And then what, 2,200 points later, you left Winston-Salem and went on to the NBA.
Hey, turned out well. It worked for me.
Sure did.
Right now, you're seeing another freshman on the floor playing. Seth Trimble, who's a really good on-ball defender.
Yeah, I never want to lose sight of the emotions for these freshmen playing their first games on the big stage. Nice job to get open by Phillips.
He's a really good mid-range shooter. Gets to his spots, plays off 2 feet. Armando's going to have to step up. He and Nan's going to have to step up on that down ball screen action.
Trimble handles the point and the pressure into Bacot. Nance crashes the glass. Rebound Eric Vanderheiden, the former Ole Miss Rebel.
Seeing a little bit of frustration out of Carolina on their half-court offensive end.
Held ball. Possession arrow will give it to Carolina. We've got ourselves a good ball game on opening night. Tied at 17 here at the Dean Dome. As usual, Carolina's got some highly touted freshmen. We begin with Seth Trimble, who you see there. He's the younger brother of former Tar Heel J.P. Tokoto. He's getting his first opportunity to play tonight. Tyler Nickel we've also seen. We will not see Jalen Washington, though, as he continues to take it slow on his rehab from his second ACL surgery. He's back to practicing 5-on-5 full court. Looked good today. You've seen him in practice a couple of times, Randolph, but they are just not going to rush him back into the fold. But at some point, he's going to impact this Tar Heels team this year.
He definitely will. He's another 6'10" athletic big, but his ability to stretch the floor, shoots it really well. I don't think he definitely won't be a 4-year guy. I think once he gets healthy, I think with his skill set and size, I think he'll be off to the NBA pretty soon.
6 to shoot. Leaky Black pulls. Well short, and he commits the foul.
It's not the shot the Tar Heels want right there. Contested mid-range jump shot from Leaky Black, and doubles down and commits the foul.
So now the Heels as a team only 4 of 15. They've missed their last 6 shots from the floor.
Again, the way UNC Wilmington is defending them and keeping them out of the ball screens and really pushing them out and being real physical with Carolina right now. This is the end of the floor Carolina has to depend on right now. They want to get control of this game. The ball screen. They're going to put Armando in ball screens when things break down.
Eno gives it back to Phillips with under 5 to shoot. Phillips goes to the floor, and it's a shot clock violation. Right on cue, Randolph. You said UNC's got to pick it up at this end, and they do.
Coach Davis has challenged those guys. They need to rely on their defense. We know they're going to score points eventually. They're going to get going and hit shots. They have to defend. Hang their hat on defense if they want to get back to anywhere remotely close to the level of play they played a year ago.
5th turnover forced by Carolina tonight. There you see the drought on the offensive end, though, for the Heels. 5.5 minutes and counting.
The pressure's bothering them. The one thing that, Wilmington also does is they change their pressure. That time they were in a 1-2-2. Sometimes they're in man.
Double team comes to Bacot. Knocks it away momentarily. 5 to shoot. He finds Leak underneath. And Leaky, I should say, puts it in. Leaky Black with his first 2.
It's a really good underrated offensive rebounder. So he was running in thinking Armando Bacot was going to take the shot. Found himself with a dump off pass. Again, Armando's a really good passer. wet spot on the floor there. Fortunately for Leaky Black, he didn't hurt himself. I think he slipped when he landed.
Wednesday, we'll have the men's soccer championship semifinals. Third-seeded Virginia takes on second-seeded Syracuse at 5 Eastern. Then 8th-seeded Clemson, which upset Duke in the quarter, squares off against 4th-seeded Wake Forest at 7 Eastern. Both matches right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. The winners will meet in the championship match Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPNU.
They're in that 1-2 zone again, adding their pressure.
Pass deflected out of bounds by Malik Harden-Hayes. Carolina will keep.
And what this pressure does, they change the pressure, so what it does is it forces you to think about how you want to attack it. They attack you so many ways defensively, and right now Carolina's unsure about how to attack it.
Davis back into the game at the point. Starting unit on the floor for Carolina. Nance on the pull-up.
This is
field goal made.
Yeah, this is where Brady Manick was so good for those guys a year ago, and I think this is where Pete Nance is going to step up too. Brady had the ability to step up and take and make shots like that, and they're going to need this experience right now as they're unsettled on offense.
Well, it's really interesting how similar their stats were a year ago. Nance at Northwestern and Manick here. But Coach Davis downplayed it. He said their greatest similarity is how seamless they both fit in as newcomers.
Well, when the talent around them allows you just to fit in, there's no pressure on either one of those guys coming in. And I think that's what helped them.
Leaky Black with another rebound. There are the stats from a year ago between Nance and Manick. You can't help but compare and contrast the two of them.
I think the biggest difference of the two is just Manick was he shot more three-point shots.
Another steal by Phillips. The Tar Heels' 4th turnover turns into 2 more Wilmington points.
That was Coach Davis's biggest concern with this group. It's just turning the basketball over. He wants to make UNC Wilmington play in the half court right now. They're getting stops and turnovers and getting out in transition.
That's a blocking foul on the North Dakota State transfer from Moorhead, Minnesota, Malik Harden-Hayes.
Coach Siddle was really impressed with him. Said he's a lot better offensively than he thought when he got him on campus. And watching his game, his ability to score, he thinks he'll be a major player, an elite athlete for those guys as well.
Yeah, says he's a big-time competitor and likens him to former Seahawk Jalen Sims. But he takes a seat after having picked up his 2nd foul. And R.J. Davis to the free throw line.
That's a concern Coach Siddle had, is just they're a deeper team, but the Pals eventually foul up with Carolina trying to pound it inside. He's got depth this year, you know, unlike years in the past, but this is more of a team and more versatility the way he wants to play. They're going to be a force in the CAA this year.
Now, Coach Siddle grew up in Eden, North Carolina. We tried to get him to say who he rooted for as a kid. He wouldn't tell us, but I'm guessing he had some Carolina blue in his closet at some point along the way.
Well, he wouldn't tell us that, and I don't blame him. He's not going to admit that. Being a state guy, I don't expect him to acknowledge that. He said he won't confirm nor deny.
Well, he played in this building a couple of times as a freshman and as a sophomore at Gardner-Webb. They lost both those games, but he did win in this building as an assistant coach to Kevin Keats with North Carolina State. And that is the story that he has shared pregame with his Seahawks to try and again get across the point that you can go into the Dean Dome and get a win.
You always want to put that, you know, in front of your players, let them know that that's possible. And he also has a player in Shaquem Phillips that has played against Carolina.
Caleb Love left it on the bottom of the rim, got it back, puts it up. Carolina with its biggest lead of the night.
He's just so explosive. He scores in so many ways. Didn't get the finish at the rim. Got the loose ball and shot the pull-up jump shot. Carolina's defense is picking up.
Trezarian White on the switch, shoots over Bacot, a little strong, and Nance grabs the defensive rebound. Love from deep.
He checked. Those are the shots Coach Davis wants him to change. That's the tough, difficult shot there.
Tar Heels starting to find their rhythm, have opened up a 6-point lead. Welcome back to the Deanie Smith Center. Carolina getting to the free throw line, and that's been a big part of how they have been able to open up the 6-point lead.
Neither team is shooting it great right now. I think both teams are defending well. I think Seahawks defense is throwing them off. They're throwing so many different things at Carolina. Full court pressure, half court pressure, pinning them on the side on ball screens. They're switching a lot. They're throwing a lot at Carolina, but this is the way they play. And it's taking Carolina a little time to figure out how they want to attack. I think the most surprising thing right now is that we're tied rebounding in basketball. That was something that Coach Sitter was really concerned about, and they actually have more offensive rebounds than Carolina. That's the biggest surprise.
Bacot makes the first. There's the reigning CAA Coach of the Year. K.O. Siddle, they went on to win the CBI the first time in this program's Division I history. They won a postseason tournament.
I think he has a heck of a future ahead of him, and I see him being a high major coach in the near future.
Yeah, he's just 36 years old. Still very close with Kevin Keats. He was a Keats assistant at UNCW, then again at NC State. They're in contact every day.
I think to notice is another offensive rebound right there again. Leaky Black just got his hand in there and knocked it away.
Davis get past Black. Thought he might have stepped out of bounds. Instead attacks and gets his shot blocked. Bacot comes up with it. Another rebound. Little Moses Malone there. 2 rebounds, 2 points on the same possession.
Patting his offensive rebound stats there.
Well, you don't get 13 rebounds a game.
No.
Without having a little finesse and style and smarts in there.
They're going to continue to attack him on this end of the floor, too. Put him in a lot of ball screens.
Kamari McGriff has come into the game for UNCW, number 21. He's a redshirt freshman from Tallahassee. 5 to shoot. Repeatedly, we've seen Phillips with the shot clock down, having to put up tough shots. He makes that one.
He wants to get to that right hand, but he is a really good mid-range shooter. That's his second mid-range jump shot today.
Senior out of Winterville, North Carolina, now with 8 points to lead the Seahawks.
Armando got tangled up there. You don't want to see him limping. Looking to get the ball inside to Armando on the post.
McGriff now trying to keep the big man from getting into the basket. And a foul on the double team. And it goes against Shaquem Phillips. Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, the ACC Huddle Crew will be in Syracuse, New York to get you set for another full day of football. We'll also have halftime shows and pre- and post-game shows throughout the day. At 6:30, get a complete wrap-up of the afternoon's games, and then they'll get you set for the prime time matchup between Florida State and Syracuse on ACCN at 8 o'clock Eastern. It's all right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
Sure, you're cheering for your Orangemen.
Boy, they've lost 3 in a row.
They started out the gate really, really strong.
See if their quarterback Garrett Schaefer can come back from injury. And yes, I will be watching. Your Deeks aren't so bad either.
No, my Deeks are really good. We're struggling right now as well. We've got the yips right now and turning the basketball over, but we'll respond against the Tar Heels this weekend.
Back into the game, number 0, Seth Trimble, 6'3", 192 pounds. Mentioned he's from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, the younger brother of J.P. Tokoto, and he's got some of the same athletic genes J.P. has.
He's really athletic and really strong. I mean, great body for a freshman, and he has an extra gear. He can really move. And this is the lineup that we talked about as well. They're playing him with R.J. Davis, gives them more ball handling ability. Slide R.J. off to 2. R.J. has 9 points. He's playing well right now, so.
5 on the shot clock. Vanderheiden nearly loses it.
Turnover.
And he traveled. 8th turnover forced by the Tar Heels.
Now you can see how DeMarco Dunn and Seth Trimble got on the court this year. Ability to get out, fight over the screen, ability to switch. It's a really good athletic group Carolina has on the floor right now. The freshman's coming out.
Davis, Dunn, Nance, Bacot, and Love, the 5 on the floor for Carolina. Davis goes end-to-end for 2.
He has 11. He really has it going offensively. Rejected the ball screen, went in the lane, shot a floater.
Timeout called by Coach Siddle. We'll take it with him. Back in 30. W has played a good first 19 minutes here at the Dean Dome against the #1 team in the country, but Tar Heels starting to pull away a little bit. Coach Siddle wanted to make sure on this final possession of the half they get a good shot.
Yeah, I think he wanted to slow things down a little bit. Carolina stepped up the defense. This halftime is coming at a good time for those guys. Slow the troops down, settle them down a little bit. Try to get them down one good shot for the half. Judging by the group that's out there now, I think it'll be another ball screen. I think that their offensive game plan is to put Armando Bacot in ball screens. But they're going to take him out.
So now a small Carolina lineup again with Dunn and Trimble with the starting backcourt. Nance the only big out there. Final 23 seconds of the first half.
Nance gives them the ability that this late ball screen, when he runs up, I think they'll switch it with him. He's shown the ability to guard guards. He's done it in practice.
Phillips fouled by Trimble.
Freshman mistake there, letting Phillips get to his right hand. Non-shooting foul.
Five seconds left in the half.
Where they foul again and let him shoot.
Shaquem Phillips looked like Nance got a piece.
He did. The ability to switch by Nance stepping out. Great job defensively. Carolina in the last 5 minutes stepped it up the defensive end of the floor. Pushed the lead up to 11.
Halftime here on opening night at the Dean Dome with Carolina up by 11.
Transition. They're going to struggle against the half-court set. Carolina's too big, too athletic to play in the half-court. Their offensive way of attacking them is just putting them in ball screens. Carolina's making an adjustment, so they got to force turnovers, get some easy baskets in transition.
Shaquem Phillips leads UNCW with 8 points, and we've got the shot clock not working for the first 4 seconds of this half. Phillips leads the Seahawks with 8. He's number 20 tonight in navy blue. While R.J. Davis leads all scorers with 11 for the Tar Heels. This is Caleb Love with the defensive assignment on Phillips.
I think we could have left the shot clock alone. I don't think either one of these teams can run that down at all.
Corner 3. Good look. Just off the mark by Newby. There's an offensive rebound as UNCW just keeps fighting.
Another offensive rebound.
Spin move by Harden Hayes again into the corner.
This is the way they want to play. Drive, attack the paint off the dribble.
Donovan Newby, the UW Milwaukee transfer with 5 points.
That's not his strong suit. He usually wants to get in there and find guys and spot open and take threes. But again, the way they want to play, dribble drive, paint touches for open threes, and finishing at the rim.
Love back to Davis. Inside to Bacot. Single coverage. He dribbled it off his foot.
So another turnover there. Unforced error. Great job by Nance, defended on the perimeter.
Well, Trezarian White at 6'6" is not going to be defended this year that often by somebody as tall as Nance.
And moves as well as he does. It's a great job by Nance. I'm really impressed with how he's moving his feet.
Leaky Black blocked the shot, but he landed awkwardly. Stays at the other end of the floor, holding his right foot or ankle as the bucket is scored at the other end.
Let's hope it's minor and he gets back out there. He tells coach he doesn't want to come out. Want to tie his shoe up and stay on the court. Great job defensively there, going up, blocking the shot. Comes down on Phillips' foot, rolls his ankle. keeper's not going to take any chances. He's going to take him out anyway. Get the doctor to take a look at him.
And so the fifth-year senior heads down to the end of the bench. And Carolina comes off the bench with DeMarco Dunn, the sophomore from Tucson, Arizona. Though he played his high school ball here in the state of Carolina after his family moved across the country. Tough shot by Harvey. And a foul on the rebound. Going to go against Amari Kelly, the 6'9" senior from Norcross, Georgia.
Does a really good job of crashing the glass there, but unfortunately he went over Armando Bacot's back, got the foul. But they're getting into the paint. They're starting to get the looks that they want. They want to play by getting dribble drives and paint touches. They've kind of went away from the ball screens they were running in the first half. In this half, they're spreading you out, driving in the paint.
Foul's going to be an issue for UNCW, as Kelly is the first to pick up his third. He goes to the bench. Eno comes back in. But Harden Hayes, Phillips, and Thomas all have 2 as well.
They're going to force Seahawks deep into their bench. That's part of what they do. Put so much pressure on you. They're going to draw fouls.
Love from deep. Well, Dunn got a piece of it, but it's UNCW with another rebound.
This is the way they want to play as well.
Harden Hayes with a tough drive to the bucket. Bacot sent him flying.
Both teams are struggling offensively right now, so you want to get, when you're struggling to score, you need to get out and get yourself in transition. Get easy baskets like that. That time he didn't score, but he drew the foul.
I think it's a byproduct of both teams playing superior defense.
I think it's a combination of both. I think both teams are trying to play hard on the defensive end, but it's the first game, being unfamiliar with each other. For some of these guys, they're playing Carolina. A lot of Carolina players on the bench for this team, and they grew up watching this team play. Some of that you can see by the jitters with the fouls.
At the line, Malik Harden Hayes. He grew up across the Red River from Fargo, North Dakota, in Moorhead, Minnesota. He makes a couple of free throws, give him 6 points on the night for the Seahawks.
He actually has the athleticism to play with anybody on the Carolina team. He shouldn't be overwhelmed by anything at all.
Every bit of 6'7", 195. Tough shot. Nice finish by Love.
That's what you want to see from Love. The last 2 shots were deep threes. That time he put his head down and got to the rim. Oh, nice move.
What a move, but then he just couldn't finish. Phillips a little strong off the glass. Eno gets it back. Mid-range shot. Phillips misses again.
Carolina wants to get out, play in transition themselves.
Davis, no.
This is the pace both teams usually want to play. Like I said, we won't need the shot clock.
Jamari Harvey has his pass knocked away. Eno gets it back to Harvey. He puts it up, and that's an air ball.
Good dribble handoff there. Love just getting downhill, getting to the rim, using his size and athleticism to finish. He gets in the paint, he's going to be tough to guard tonight. Shouldn't settle. There's no shot blockers out there to bother him. When you're not making your threes, just get in the paint, elevate, and finish.
Well, what a finish to his sophomore year. Made the All-Final 4 team last spring. In 6 tournament games, averaged nearly 19 points per game, and he really did it with second-half flourishes. Scored 30 total against UCLA, 28 in that memorable game that ended the career of Coach K, taking out Duke. 22 of those points against Duke came in the second half, and then had the game-winning 3 with 24 seconds to go. He sent Coach K into retirement. And then he decided to run it back, and it was neat. You know, Leaky Black, after that championship loss to Kansas, started a group text with these 4 starters who decided to come back and say, we need to talk. And he wasn't sure what kind of response he was going to get, especially from Caleb. But eventually, over the course of the coming days and weeks, they all decided, you know what? Let's go back and get a national title if we can.
I think it helped that Armando was hurt, so he couldn't work out for scout. So he you know, that was the reason he wanted to come back. And if you think about that, you know you're going to be good. And when you're 1 rebound away from doing something special, like winning a national championship. I think he just feel the need to come back and do so. I think this team is hungry. They work really hard. They added some pieces, and they expect to be back in the mix of the Final Four, competing for a championship.
Think about what Mondo showed on that bad wheel last year, what he was still able to provide in the Final Four. There he is with a good contest. Rebound to Nance.
I've really been impressed with ability to find a nose for the ball.
Bacot with a chance for three.
Great job pushing the ball by Nance. Nearly turned it over.
Well, the defenders swarmed Pete Nance. He was able to keep the basketball, get it back, and find big number 5. He'll have a chance for a three-point play when we come back. It's 13.
I mean, like I told you before, he's changed. He hasn't changed my mind at all. I think he's their best complete player. Shoots the three, gets in the paint, sets things up for everyone else. There's not a shot blocker out there, so I expect him to continue to assert himself in the second half.
He was Mr. Basketball in the state of New York back in 2020. Pretty good list he joined there. You want to hear some of the names R.J. Davis is along with? How about Kenny Anderson, Jamal Mashburn, Stephon Marbury, Elton Brand, Tobias Harris, Kevin Herter, just to name a few.
Wow.
Pretty good list.
It's a really good list. A really good list.
UNC's defense making it tough on UNCW here in the second half. They stay cold now 0 for their last 7 and only 1 of 9 since the intermission.
Kazarian White has been struggling with his jump shot this game. I think the length is bothering him. He's not accustomed to having a bigger defender on him like Pete Nance and some of the length that Carolina puts on.
Well, UNCW is the reigning champ in the Colonial Athletic Association, having won 27 games a year ago. But they are picked to finish 5th this year after losing a number of really good players for Coach Siddle. Towson is the team to beat, according to the preseason poll. Hofstra picked number 2.
They wouldn't surprise me if they're right back up there as co-champs. I mean, this team is deep. They're going to play hard. They're going to defend. Got to get a little bit more perimeter scoring.
Bacot now with 12 points and 6 rebounds. Ball will stay at this end. And with those 6 rebounds, I mean, Bacot's name is up with the immortals here at UNC. He has passed Brad Daugherty and Mitch Kupchak tonight, now 7th all time in North Carolina rebounding history.
I think he'll finish at the top of that list. I mean, his ability to rebound, I mean, my goodness, he's dominant on the glass, and with the talent around him and their ability to get to the rim and finish, and he's getting that free run to the rim from playing on the perimeter a lot more than he has ever in his career. Just allows him just to eat up the glass. He's just been a force.
And when you're a really good player who stays at a place like Carolina for 4 years, your name's going to be along with a lot of great names. They've got 12 Naismith Hall of Famers from Carolina, 11 different National Players of the Year, 18 different consensus first-team All-Americans. And Armando Bacot has a chance this year to join that list. Well, here's Saturday's Week 11 ACC Network College football lineup. Fresh off their upset of Syracuse, Pittsburgh squares off against quarterback Brendan Armstrong in Virginia, noon Eastern. Then true freshman quarterback MJ Morris leads number 22 NC State against Boston College. And the day's capped off by our ACC and primetime matchup. 20th ranked Syracuse tries to turn things around against a Florida State team that has won back-to-back games.
Florida State started to play good football.
The ACC needs the Seminoles to get back to being the Seminoles.
Yes, we do.
Your alma mater's done pretty well, actually done very well for itself in recent years. My alma mater's done better this year, but the reality is you need Florida State, you need Miami, along with Clemson, to be the standard bearers. And actually here in the Triangle, I mean, Carolina and State are having great years, both nationally ranked.
You're right. I think Virginia Tech needs to get back into the mix of what they're accustomed to being. And I think we will eventually get to that point. Florida State is taking that step. Miami just seems to start off that way and then doesn't seem to be able to continue. Great defense by Seahawks there, getting a 10-second count on Carolina again, mixing up that pressure.
6th Carolina turnover. 5.5 minutes into the second half. Shaquem Phillips, hesitation. Pass deflected away by Bacot. Trizarian White to the bucket for 2.
Great job by him getting to the rim, finishing with a strong move with his right hand. He does a great job at the head of that press.
Love turned down the open 3, tried to set up Black, and it's a turnover for the Heels. Number 7. White turns the corner. Tough finish, and he was fouled.
Great drive and finish. They need to get him going. He's been their second leading scorer this year, you know, so far in exhibition and preseason games, and struggled the first half. Great drive and finish against the length here. And 1.
Well, as a freshman last year, he started 23 games for UNCW, averaged 7 points, 4.5 rebounds. He won a pair of Texas 5A state championships at Timberview High School. His teammate in 2017, you'll know this name, Isaac Likely. Ice was the star as a senior. White was a sophomore. Together they won a state championship.
He's playing really well right now. He's picked it up in the second half and they cut the lead to 10. Doing a really good job of pushing Armando away from the basket and catching the ball. Kelly's back in there guarding Armando Bacot now. He's had 3 fouls. Let's see if Carolina will go to Armando to see if they can pick up his 4th.
Here he goes. A lot of contact, no call. Bacot quietly having himself another terrific night. 14 points.
That's where he's improved in his game again. Just like he scored earlier, facing you up, putting it on the floor. He's really difficult to guard in space.
Phillips with a head of steam. Bacot clears another rebound.
This is where Carolina's really dangerous in transition.
Seth Trimble. Extra pass, Nance all alone.
Great extra pass, but you can't be upset when you miss a shot like that. It's a good look, good pass. He'll make more of those.
Kelly soars for the rebound, and we've got a foul.
So where they're hurting Carolina on the glass is that when they set that ball screen, Armando's coming over to help, and their bigs are just getting a free run down the lane between Amari Kelly and Victor Uno. Those guys have got their hands on a bunch of balls, and so far between the 2 of them, they've got 6 offensive rebounds.
First foul on R.J. Davis. Non-shooting foul as Tyler Nickel, the freshman from Harrisburg, Virginia, has come back into the game. White had it poked away. Good to see Leaky Black back on the floor. And we've got a whistle away from the ball as Davis went down hard.
It's another foul by Harden Hayes. That's his 4th.
Saw the trip in the top left corner.
That's a difficult way to pick up your 4th foul and sit down. I mean, I think it's an accidental trip.
Yep.
It's away from the ball. You would have liked for them to continue to play.
But I was beginning to say, good to see Leaky Black back on the floor for the Tar Heels after he went out having rolled his ankle or his foot. There's number 1 in white, Rayshawn Malik Black. He says only his mom and his sister can call him Rayshawn. Nobody else gets away with it. Everybody else is Leaky. And here goes Leaky along the baseline. No.
I like Leaky a lot better anyway.
Great name. Skip pass to find Newby.
Really impressed with the way Wilmington's attacking the glass.
Just over 8 minutes gone here in the second half. Carolina trying to pull away, but the #1 team in the country in its opener still being pushed by UNCW. The last preseason #1 to win it all back in 2008-2009, North Carolina, led by Tyler Hansbrough. That team had 7 future NBA players. Could this team, this Tar Heels rendition, match what those guys did and run the table #1 preseason and be the last team standing at the end of the year?
I think they're the favorite right now. I mean, they're not playing well at the moment, but again, you want to get out of here with a win. And UNC Wilmington's here to play, so I wouldn't overreact to this game so far. But they have depth that they hadn't had in a long time.
Kelly was fouled on the drive. Well, the stakes are so high for this group of Tar Heels who came back. I mean, anything short of getting to Houston will be viewed, I think, by them as well as a failure. I don't think Coach Davis would say that. Certainly the fans expect them. I mean, when you run it back like this, you got to get to Houston, if not win it all, right?
Well, I think they'll do a good job of managing those expectations, because last year the expectations were, it's Carolina, there's always expectations. You have Hubert coming in following Coach Williams, and that distraction. You start out really, really slow and deal with that, and then you make the turn and make a run to the championship game. This team is built to handle the adversity.
That's foul number 5 on Amari Kelly on the illegal screen, so he is out. So we take another look.
Yeah, he's got his leg out there. Tough night for him. Armando's drawn quite a few fouls on him. He's only played 9 minutes. He's got his 5 fouls.
And it seems just a matter of time before Kelly is joined by others. Malik Harden-Hayes has 4 fouls. Nobody else more than 2 so far for UNCW. Well, in talking to Coach Davis during shoot-around this afternoon, he talked about that noise that you're talking about and the expectations. And he said last year he tried to tell his players, don't listen to the noise, which was negative for the most part as they struggled throughout the regular season. Now he thinks it's just as invasive, that noise, when everybody's pumping them up.
Yes, it's a different message, but the noise is still the same. And they did a really good job of staying consistent against that a year ago. I mean, there was a lot of negative comments against this team, and they just fought through it.
Bacot's going to get the foul.
That's the one part of his game I'd like to see him make the adjustment. That he gets it inside. He draws so many people against. You'd like to see him kick it out.
4th foul on Bacot. And you see White took the brunt of Bacot's 235 pounds and is limping at midcourt as Mondo goes out with that 4th foul.
Now, this is something you were really concerned about a year ago if you're a Carolina fan, but now having Pete Nance there, I think this is where he really helps you. Now you're able to sit Armando down and not have to rush him back in the game. I think you'll see him step up in this role.
So again, it's one of the big storylines coming to the year for Carolina. Pete Nance essentially taking the spot on the roster of Brady Manek, and that's one of the big differences between the two this year.
Yeah, but he has the ability to play more inside. Brady Manek spent most of his time on the perimeter, and it's not that Pete Nance can't shoot, but he will punish the mismatches inside, maybe rebound a little better, and he's a better defender. So I think that's why they feel more secure this year in not having Armando Bacot on the floor for longer stretches of time.
Yeah, it really is something, as we said in the first half, how similar their offensive statistics were. And Nance can really shoot it. He made 45% of his threes last year for Northwestern.
Look at the confidence coach is putting in his young guards. He's got 2 freshman guards out there.
Well, the lead was 16. It's down to 10. Davis with a mismatch. Got himself free for the jumper, just couldn't finish.
We're in a dangerous part of the game for Carolina with the young guys out there.
White blocked. I think that was number 0 who got him. I think Trimble came over. And we've talked about his athletic genes as Trimble got up to the rim to block that shot.
Now Carolina essentially has 4 guards on the floor right now, so someone has to help them rebound. They are getting out rebounded. I never thought I'd say that against UNC Wilmington. Freshman point guard coming over there to block from the weak side. Great job. Can't secure the loose ball. 50-50 balls have gone UNC Wilmington's way.
How about this for a discrepancy on the glass? Offensive rebounds, UNCW 13, Carolina only 6.
Would have never thought that coming in. That was the biggest concern we had. The other thing that's shocking is Carolina does not have a fast break point for both teams that love to play in transition. But this is what happens with the pressure. The pressure puts you on your heel. And it's a dangerous moment right now because you got 2 freshmen out there who haven't experienced this. And let's see how they handle it. They need to put the ball in R.J. Davis's and Caleb Love's hand right now to make a play.
This is Love, preseason second-team All-American. Trimble under control, puts it up. Good-looking shot with the shot clock going down here at the midpoint of the second half.
You're okay with him doing that. He's got to the paint, shot fake, got his man in the air, just missed the pull-up. Trying to create space, want to attack the paint.
White, block. Tyler Nickel playing some defense. Here's Trimble at the other end. How about that for a basket?
For a transition basket. I just jinxed him. I just saw they didn't have one all game. That's the first transition basket of the night for the Tar Heels. And they needed it. They've been struggling offensively without Armando on the floor. Great defensive block by the freshman. From one freshman to another. Unselfish pass by R.J. Davis. He's really athletic. Seth Trimble is. A little disappointed he didn't dunk that, though.
Yeah. I think there will be a few to come. Well, that bucket snapped a drought of more than 4 minutes for Carolina. You see the struggles offensively for UNCW, missing 14 of their last 16. Eno back into the game, sets the screen. Corner 3. Up and over the top of the backboard for Jamari Thomas.
It's a really good defensive lineup for Carolina out there now. All 5 guys are pretty solid defensive players. They'll be able to switch a lot if they need to. It's the versatility of Leaky in the backcourt, being able to initiate offense for this team with his size, throwing over the pressure. Great move.
R.J. Davis. 15 points for the junior from White Plains, New York.
Just put the ball in his hands, let him make a play. I think, like I said all along, I think he's the best player for the Tar Heels this year.
Preseason All-ACC first team, couple of Tar Heels, Bacot and Love. R.J. Davis on the second team, along with Isaiah Wong, Terquavion Smith, and Jeremy Roach. Should be fun on opening night. Everybody's looking up. Everybody's looking forward to being an all-star and having dreams of making it to March Madness. And for these Tar Heels, anything short of reach in Houston will be a surprise to many. Anybody on that first team All-ACC roster surprise you? Anybody else you think should have been on there?
Like I said, I'm a big R.J. Davis fan. And I don't know who you take off, but I think when it's all said and done at the end of the year, I think R.J. Davis will be there. I'm a big Terquavion Smith fan. I think he is as explosive of a scorer we have in this league. So I don't know who I take off. I mean, it's all, you know, they're all good players. But of the guys that are not on that list, I would have to say, for me, it'd be R.J. Davis.
Okay.
Now, I don't know who you take off.
Right. Isaiah Wong's got to be on there.
Isaiah Wong has to be there. Armando Bacot and Wong, hands down. I think those two are there. Everyone else, then you can probably depends on where you live.
I've been on the Isaiah Wong bandwagon since he was a freshman. He scored 16 tonight. The Hurricanes opened up with a win over Lafayette. That new backcourt with Nigel Pack could wind up being the best backcourt in the ACC.
I couldn't argue that. We'll see how Nigel Pack performs in conference play. But I know these two guys out here has performed at a high level. Yep. So as of right now, I'm going to take Love and Davis as my best backcourt in the ACC. But a lot of good backcourts. NC State's backcourt will be equally as good.
Trimble called for the foul on the drive by Newby. That is his second foul.
Just looking up on the scoreboard to see if how he get the foul. I thought he elevated straight up. Got him a little bit on the arm there. His athleticism, speed just jumps out at you when you watch him play.
I think the fans in the building were watching the Jumbotron like you were.
I don't think they liked the call. I wasn't sure if they were saying Luke, like it's Luke May, or they were booing.
Well, it's good to see Roy Williams in the building with the other champs from that 2017 team that have been recognized. There's another look.
Gets him right there on the arm when he goes up. I think it's a good call. Plus, he's a freshman. They're not going to give you that call as a freshman.
Is that real?
I think
is Kenny Valentine thinking he's a freshman? I can't give him that call.
I would imagine so. I would imagine so.
Tough shot by Trimble. He can get into the paint whenever he wants.
He would. You'd like him to play off 2 feet. There was help there. He should have kicked it on the weak side. He'll make that adjustment as he watches film. Now, he'll make some mistakes on the offensive end, but you won't question his effort on this end. Gets in the stands, he guards the ball. Big and physical enough to switch.
Five to shoot.
That's where Nance is so good, just the ability to switch late and guard the ball.
Yeah, instead of Phillips having a rhythm 18-foot shot, it was a forced buzzer beater from the corner. And it turns into 2 points at the other end for Love. Give him a dozen on the night.
Again, hasn't made a lot of threes, but he's attacking the rim. Carolina has the lineup out there right now that can just switch five. They're going to switch everything.
Great shot fake by White. Then he puts up an air ball. Vanderheiden pulls it back out. A rare made three-point bucket tonight. This one by Shaquem Phillips. He's got 11.
He's been the one guy that's got it going offensively for UNC Wilmington tonight.
Black had it knocked away. Nance goes down. Let's see if he's okay. Looks like he's all right. Looks like both guys are all right. Newby playing hard. Timeout here at the Dean Dome. It's an 11-point Carolina lead on opening night in the ACC. 51-40 Carolina with the lead. Second half, UNCW has not been able to make a shot. Only 4 of 23. What percentage was that, you said, Randolph?
17% from the field right now.
Man.
But they've done a really good job of getting to the free throw line. They've played Carolina even in the second half because they scored 10 points from the free throw line, but they're struggling from the field.
Well, they played them even here in the second half. It was an 11-point game at the intermission, now a 12-point game as Nance makes the first free throw. They've also out-rebounded Carolina, 32-26, out-rebounded them on the offensive glass, 14-6. That could be a problem going forward for Carolina.
That's the most disturbing thing, I think, coming out of the game today. You just don't expect, and it's all hustle. You know, they're the bigger team. You don't expect them to get out-rebounded in the manner in which they're getting out-rebounded tonight.
Off the steal, Love couldn't finish the layup. Back the other way. There's a nice-looking finish by Trezarian White. Give him 13 points to lead the Seahawks.
The other thing on the offensive end that's concerning if you're a Carolina fan is there's not a lot of assists. It's just a lot of my turn, your turn. They got 4 assists on the night. But I guess you can do that when you got this kind of talent. As Love tells me to shut up, pull up and shoot his mid-range jump shot.
You're not wrong, though.
As the competition heats up, they're going to have to do a better job of moving bodies and moving the ball on the offensive end.
Phillips back out to White. There's another three-point bucket made by the Seahawks. And it's back to a 10-point ball game.
They're not going away. I think we're going to see Armando Bacot come in soon here.
Leaky Black taking advantage of that 7'3" wingspan down in the block.
Great decision by Leaky Black. Put his man on the post, turned inside over his inside shoulder. Just too small of a defender. Rose up and shot right over. Shot in Phillips.
Third foul on Phillips as Leaky Black, the only remaining Tar Heel from that 2019 ACC championship team and #1 seed, still around. Young man from Concord, North Carolina, has his undergraduate work done, now working on a postgraduate degree out of Cox Mill High School. Although he didn't play his whole career there, he played a couple of years at Concord, then went down to Montverde for a year and came back up to the Carolinas for his senior year at Cox Mill. And you know, even though he's not an offensive threat, you think there's a shot at Leaky finding a spot in the NBA someday.
I do, because he's 6'9", he can defend every position on the floor, and he knows what he is, and he's accept that. There's not a lot of guys that buy in to what their game is, and I think there's somebody in the NBA who'll find him on a roster because there's a role for him. He wants to guard the best player on the other team.
Well, the list of guys he shut down last year was really impressive.
That list will grow this year as well.
It will. Good defense again by the Tar Heels.
It's a really good group on the floor defensively for Carolina. I think it's maybe their 5 best defenders on the floor.
Black, Love, Davis, Nance and Trimble, and a chance for 3.
There's no shot blockers out there. If Love and R.J. Davis decide to get to the paint, there's nothing there that can stop them. I think they're going to continue to do that and close this game out. Great crossover dribble. Just bodies him up and elevates over and finishes. Just too athletic and too strong. Flexing on.
And one indeed. And he fouled out Malik Harden-Hayes in the process. Well, Caleb's from a wonderful family in St. Louis. His mom Alicia, his dad Dennis. Story's been told, his dad a huge Tar Heel fan from the beginning. But when Caleb was just a youngster, he doesn't even remember the 2005 Final Four. Dad got him tickets, really good tickets, to go see the Tar Heels. And it seemed destined that Caleb would wind up here in Chapel Hill.
They hung a banner on that 2005 team, so I'm sure he wants to come and hang a banner himself. Like I said, they were a rebound away from a year ago, and the talent and the depth this year. The depth hasn't been as productive as we would like, but they're playing. You can see that they're going to bring something to this team as the year goes along, and that's why the expectations are high, and I expect them to continue to stay high.
Well, Carolina only has 4 bench points tonight, all from Seth Trimble. And again, they're playing without Jalen Washington, still coming back from knee surgery, and without Puff Johnson tonight. He has right knee soreness. 17 points now for Love, to go along with 15 for Davis, 14 for Bacot.
I think Coach Davis likes this group on the defensive end.
There's that help side defense from Nance you're talking about.
Again, they've been defending well, and that's Nance coming over. And again, his ability to defend the ball screens, switching, this is something that they didn't have a year ago when Armando went out of the game. And he brings that to the team.
Got to get the perspiration off the floor now.
He's not having a great offensive game, but his presence has been felt defensively this game.
He got his degree at Northwestern in radio, TV, and film, but he wasn't done after 4 years playing for Chris Collins, playing basketball. He wanted to go elsewhere and use his COVID year. And he didn't have Carolina on his radar until the summertime, when Caleb Love and him became friends in Chicago, and the recruitment started there. Ball will send Newby to the free throw line.
He's a great fit. Just a seamless transition here, so it's hard to turn down the powder blue when you come to visit here.
Coming up next, the Nothing But Net crew will break down all the ACC games, highlights and analysis and sound from the players and coaches right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. We've had a marvelous opening night, a triple header of live basketball. The Louisville women took care of business. The Duke men took care of business, and Carolina trying to make it a 3-for-3 evening for the ACC. Night number 1, we're going to have college basketball for the next 125 nights on the ESPN family of networks. We're so glad you've joined us here on ACC Network on day number 1.
What a day.
Well, the only ACC school to lose so far that I've seen is Florida State.
Really surprised with that game today.
They were not at, well, that's going to be an over and back. Leakey had not reestablished himself in the backcourt when he took that pass. He jumped from the front court, caught the ball, and then landed in the backcourt. But Florida State, I don't think, was at full strength tonight, but still, you wouldn't think the Seminoles would lose on opening night.
Not at home. I mean, you expect them to come out with their length and athleticism. Give them some credit. Just like the UNC Wilmington team, they came to play tonight.
Eno sets a screen. Nance gets called for the foul, contesting Newby. Indeed, UNCW has been game, but the Tar Heels up 16 late.
To prepare against, it's the first game. You don't know what you're going to get out of teams. They threw a lot at Carolina, but their best players are bringing them home.
And after sitting out the last few minutes with 4 personal fouls, Armando Bacot is back on the floor. He needs 2 rebounds for another double-double. It would be his 50th career double-double. And again, he is on quite a roll with the rebounds. He is tied with the great Sean May, one of the assistant coaches for Carolina, averaging 10 rebounds per game, 6th best in program history. There was Coach May. Billy Cunningham, his numbers are never going to be caught. He averaged for his career over 15 boards a game.
Some records will never be broken, and I don't see anybody breaking that one. Armando would have needed to play for Coach Davis for all 4 years to get that. To have a shot at that one. First time UNC Wilmington pressed and went back to their zone. We talked about that at shoot around. Not a lot of teams are prepared for that. Ball doesn't move as it hasn't moved much of the day for Carolina. Settled for 3. Probably one as he should have gone to it a little earlier tonight.
Eno hands it back to Jamari Thomas. 5 on the shot clock. White creates a little space and draws the foul on Trimble.
Got Trimble reaching a little bit again. It's his 3rd foul. He's just sticking his hand in right on the top, elevating for a shot, tried to strip him, stuck his hand in the cookie jar, got caught with his 3rd foul right there.
But he is going to be a good one. Freshman from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. I just like saying Menominee.
Any idea where it is?
It's in Wisconsin. I don't know. I did not check that out. Is it near Milwaukee? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Well, he picked Carolina over Michigan and Marquette. He's a 4-star recruit, number 46 in last year's ESPN 100, Mr. Basketball in the state.
He didn't have a choice when his brother went to Carolina, right?
Right. Well,
he had to follow his brother's footsteps.
His brother came on the recruiting visit, so I think that was part of it, saying, look, you got to follow.
Yeah, this is where you're going, whether you like it or not.
It's the family school. R.J. Davis.
I think he can do that all night if he wants.
We have learned that it is 20 miles northwest of Milwaukee. Menominee Falls. There's a nice looking stroke by Eric Vanderheiden. His first points as a Seahawk. A Raleigh native after transferring home from Ole Miss. Timeout here at the Dean Dome. 12 Naismith Hall of Famers from the Tar Heels sets the pace, and if Mondo does what Mondo does, he's going to move to the top of that list somewhere mid-season this year.
I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, he's about 2 rebounds away from having his double-double tonight. Had he not gotten his 4th foul, I think he'd already have it.
Carolina still with 4 of its starters out there, along with DeMarco Dunn.
They're used to playing heavy minutes. They hadn't played at their usual amount of minutes tonight.
That ball bounced out of bounds, apparently untouched. It stays at this end.
But didn't grab the loose ball.
So last to touch on the shot block, and then Eno could not corral it.
Armando is just so difficult. Bacot's so difficult to guard if he gets it that low. You can't do anything but foul him and let him have it. You put so much pressure on your defense by drawing fouls.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me, Randolph. In 25 minutes played for Bacot so far tonight, he has drawn 7 fouls on the opposition. And now 8. Make it 8 with this one. Mondo last year 67% from the line. Carolina is a team, a pretty good free throw shooting squad as he misses a pair.
You jinxed him.
I did. I did. Well, Love and Davis, career both well over 80%. Those are your ball handlers. You want them to be your best free throw shooters. Newbie. Eno. Boy, he has really carved out some space inside. Now he comes away limping after the putback.
He's a load coming down that lane. He sets that ball screen and dives to the front of the rim. He doesn't get it and the shot goes up. Gives himself a chance to rebound it.
Bacot blocked from behind and fouled by Eno, who played his freshman year at Memphis for Tubby Smith. Then played his sophomore year with Memphis under Penny Hardaway before transferring to Marist the last couple of years. And you're right, he provides bulk inside that otherwise Takeo Siddle does not have at UNCW.
No, and if you play for those coaches and Tubby Smith and Penny Hardaway, you're going to have to defend and play for those guys. So he obviously plays really, really hard. And now playing for Siddle, this is a seamless transition for him.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that he played for the great John Dunn at Marist College the last couple of years. Another exacting coach. I say that because JD's a friend of mine. But he is a good coach.
He is. Yes, that he is.
Mondo, without any jinx worries, goes calmly to the line and makes a pair. He's got 16 points.
See, when you didn't talk about it and left him alone, he knocked both of them.
Talking about Coach Dunn instead. It worked. Thomas. No, and look at Leaky Black go up and get that rebound. One minute to go on this opening night.
Great defense there.
Dunn banks it home.
Great move by Dunn. You want to see him get going too. He's worked really hard in the offseason. You want to see him have some production in the game. I think he'll be have a really big season for Carolina. If they really want to get to their goal, Dunn and Styles need to be a big part of that as well.
Tell you what, Trezarian White's put together a really nice second half for the Seahawks.
He has
15 of his 17 points coming since the break, and he heads back to the line to add to it.
He stayed aggressive throughout. You can tell he's familiar with the system. He's one of the guys, the returning players, one of their leaders of this team. He struggled early, but he kept battling.
Well, UNCW in its Division I history is 2-43 all-time against ACC opponents. They took down NC State in '92, and then, sorry to mention this 2010, they beat Wake. But they will not be adding to that win total here tonight against the #1 team in the country.
You tapped me when you said Wake. There's a reason for that? I don't know why you tapped me when you said they beat Wake.
You did go to Wake Forest, didn't you? You do have your number 22 hanging.
That's true.
In the rafters.
But yeah, that's true. I'll own that. I wasn't there at the time.
Well,
but I'll own it. I'll own it.
You still live and die with the Deeks, I would imagine, one way or the other.
I do. I'm cheering. I'm objective now in this world, but
all right.
You know. I can say that now because you flat out told me you're a big Syracuse fan. So you're a big Syracuse guy. So now I can say I'm a Wake guy.
We're all from somewhere. And when we do a Syracuse game, I call it straight. When you do a Wake Forest game, you call it straight.
True. Very true.
Well, here's Leaky Black back at the free throw line.
Coach Davis will have a lot of film to show his guys now. And I mean, he'll be extremely disappointed. I never thought I'd say this, but Carolina's been out rebounded tonight. And that and their lack of transition baskets, those are things that they only have 4 points in transition. Those two things they've been staples in the Carolina program. And they didn't do a very good job of those things tonight.
Fight for the basketball.
It's another great job by Nance, just switching, moving his feet on a smaller guard. He's really going to be so much, helped his team so much on the defensive end of the floor. He'll be better offensively. I know everyone is expecting him to stuff the stat sheet tonight, but when we tell you he can play, he can play.
Yeah. Well, for Nance tonight, 6 points. 1 of 3 from the floor, 2 for 3 from the line. Shot clock off, and the Tar Heels can dribble it out. Well, as you said, a lot of teaching points, but you'd rather learn those lessons in a win than a loss.
They controlled the game throughout.
They led by 11 at the break, never fully pulled away. I'd say this final score is fairly representative of how the game went, but Hubert Davis's #1 ranked team starts the season off with a 69-56 victory.
Both coaches got a lot of teaching points tonight. Carolina's happy with the win. You know, Hubert has some things he'll point out with those guys, but hey, you can't win a championship till you win the first one at least. So great job by the Tar Heels coming out, get the job done.